Welcome, everyone. It is season 2, episode 33. It's playoff preview, and we do have special guest Elena Amaro, who I'll introduce more properly in a moment here. But I want to get some of our sponsors talked about. So, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, we have Pensive Technology. They are the experts in internet, security, home networking needs. They wired the garage up, and that's why you can hopefully see and hear me clear. So, pensivetechnology.com. Ask for Chris. Tell him DPF sent you. And the next is Yards. So, we've teamed up with Yards for this season, and hopefully more going forward. So, Yards has Philly Standard, which has Kyle Schwarber as on it. They are the tailgate beer. They are the DPF podcast beer, and we are proud to be drinking it. They do have other packs. So there's like an orange standard. There's a lime. There is the fruit punch, which it's a little late in the season, but if you get Rita's water ice and mix it in with fruit punch, it's excellent. So thank you to Yards. And then finally, our last sponsor. So we teamed up with Hidden Stills. Hidden Stills is based in Hershey, PA. They are the number one creator of top-notch bourbon in Pennsylvania. They also make rum. They make tequila. They make ready-to-drink canned cocktails, which we're going to get our hands on tomorrow and be able to kind of give our opinions and start promoting that. Vodka, a bunch of other different spirits. So, and they also have a restaurant there. It's in an old Hershey factory. It's beautiful. If you're up in that area, definitely check it out. If you're a PA resident, you can order all of their stuff to your home directly. So, which is pretty cool. I like the ability to do that, so you don't have to leave and you can get it. So we're going to kind of introduce Elena Amaro now. So Elena Amaro is the daughter of Phillies legend and baseball legend Ruben Amaro Sr. Elena herself is an EMT. She also runs a store where she lives down south in Braves country. So, Elena, welcome to the show. We're so glad that you're a follower of ours, and we appreciate your support, and thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Cool. So I want to kind of just tell a few quotes that I've kind of gained about your dad, and then we're going to kind of go into some questions. So one of my favorite baseball books was a tell-all book by Jim Bouton. So it was called Ball 4, and he kind of like, it was really a tell-all, like what this guy was doing behind the scenes, what that guy was doing behind the scenes. But here's what he had to say about your dad. This is like one of the greatest quotes about a person. He's the kind of guy, well, there's a dignity to him, and everyone likes and respects him. So I just thought that was like a beautiful quote for, another player to say that about your dad. And those same type of quotes happens by everyone. Gene Mauch, his manager, would say the same type of things. The next one I want to is going to kind of go into my first question. So, your dad said this, I never wanted to leave the Phillies, never. The times I left were the biggest boo-boos of my life. But not so much the first time, though, because I joined with Dallas in Chicago. And the Cubs, he built something special, which I don't think a lot of people give the respect that Dallas deserves on that. So, Elena, tell us about your dad's connection with Dallas Green.
Those two, they're really good story. I knew Dallas when I was little, and apparently at a point I walked up behind him and patted his back. That's what all the players did on this field. So I gave him a little pat on the butt. But I was 15 on a trip with my dad, and we ran into Dallas at a hotel, And he just is big, big, huge Jude lifts me up and hugs me and swings around. And I was like, who are you? I'm just a child. And so, but they seem like my dad's soft spoken and very, you know, he was mellow. And Dallas is like, in your face, picking me up. So but they worked very well together, I think.
Yeah,
They were a good
I remember
pair.
you saying they were so close. And when was this the time he picked you up and you're like, "Who are you?" And Dallas said, "You're in my wallet. Like I have a picture of you in my wallet."
Yep. Yeah.
Before cell phones, people, like for the younger crowd, people used to have like photos, in their wallets of their kids and
Pictures
loved
you could
ones.
hold. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, for those of you that are millennials and up. So, little breaking news: Atlanta has eliminated Arizona. So, just scrolling that at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
We were wondering,
That's
Elena, did you get to travel at all with the team? Did you go to spring training? Was there any towns or cities that you got to go on that were kind of like your favorite?
I did a lot when I was really, really little. I did a lot of traveling with my dad. My mom would take me, wherever he was. As I was growing up and in school, I didn't do a whole lot, but I did in the summertime. Like that time that Dallas threw me around the hotel, I was like 15. Spring training stuff, or not training, like go around, and every time we go to the stadium, everybody be like, "Oh, here, Mr. Morrow's here," and it was like a lot of guys who were just coming up were just in awe of him. And I always thought that was pretty neat. Like everybody made a talk to him and say hello, and it was pretty
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
I love
was just
Citizens
wondering-
Bank Park.
We do
That is
too.
probably
Yeah.
my favorite.
So I was wondering,
I
Elena.
grew up. Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
grew up in like right above Pittsburgh, so PNC Park was kind of, that was the home team. But Citizens Bank Park is just a little bit better.
That's great. So I was wondering, do you have any favorite stories from your father's playing days or his days coaching?
He had so many stories. One I did share with Chris. Once he was telling me a story about how he used to keep 2 bottles of the good top shelves in a briefcase, and they'd take it and they'd travel, whenever they were going to games. And this was when he was with, and they stayed in separate hotel rooms than some of the other. So Mickey Mantle would send a bellboy over to my dad's hotel, say, "Mr. Morrow, you got something for me?" And my dad would give him the 2 bottles, and he'd go back. And then the next day, my $20 bill and said, "Make sure you keep that replenished."
The Mick.
I think maybe we need to get Sparky Lyle and Elena on at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Tell Mickey Mantle stories.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Elena. Any favorite activities you used to do with your dad growing up? Any hobbies or anything you guys like to do together?
hang out, I guess. I mean, just talking to him, and I'm his own, so I wasn't one time I did cartwheels in the outfield. So I was a gymnast. I didn't get to do the baseball stuff, but yeah, I coached baseball but just spending time together. He loved shopping. I hate shopping. Loved shopping. So he thought that, being a girl, I would
Right.
love to do with him. But so, I mean, I definitely owned a few really pants that he had picked out. But yeah, he's got fashion sense like my brother.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. We got.
So, Elena, I know you have like pictures of your dad behind you, and have a lot of like memorabilia of his time. Did your dad consider himself a Philly? Like, if you asked him and he had to, was he a Philly for life?
I think there's a quote somewhere that says, "I want to be buried with a P in my chest." Like, Philly's home base for him. Philadelphia. I mean, with Philadelphia, that's where he had his, children. He loved it there, and that was always home base for him. That's where he always wanted to be, from what he ever told me. But yeah, Philly was the biggest part of his heart, for sure.
Yeah, so like your dad was the coach, first base coach, or a base coach for the Phillies. He then coached a lot of the minor league teams, as well as being like the Latin American or Caribbean scout for the Phillies. So like a lot of his time was tied to the Phillies, but he came up with, St. Louis. So he got to play with Stan Musial, which I'm sure like was a big deal to him. And then, he comes here and he's playing with Robin Roberts and Dick Allen and, Johnny Callison. And then he goes and plays with Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. And I have a feeling that a lot of those guys would say, I got to play with Ruben Amaro Sr. just because of, the type of person he was and everything I've read. So it's got to be pretty awesome. But I love that he's a Philly. Our dads loved your dad. They loved the 64 team. They're sad about the 64 team. It always came up, as one of those things. But your dad's a Philly to us, so I'm glad that he considered himself a Philly, and I think we all want that P on our chest as well when we grow.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm the breaking news guy today, but Pete Rose just passed away.
Yes.
No.
I just
wow.
I just saw it on my
83 years
phone.
old.
Confirmed.
So Elena, it might be time for you to tell that ball story, and show and tell that, show what it is, because wow.
Please.
That's terrible, though.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Wow.
This was a love letter to my mom from my dad. And it says, "Keep on being just as you are this minute. Absolutely." And Pete Rose took it and signed the back and says, "Best wishes."
So I'll go a little bit off script. Is there anything that you remember about any times you were hanging around with Pete Rose since we just had this news come through?
Like, as a little person, yeah, I have one right here that says, "To Elena, from best wishes, Pete Rose." My mom's my mom's love letter.
Well, that's cool.
That is cool. Well, there's a lot of controversy, obviously, around Pete Rose, but what I remember was that I wanted to play the game as hard as he played it. I thought he played the game the right way, and some people thought he was dirty. Some people thought Chase Utley was dirty. I just thought they played the game really hard and the way it should have been played. So rest in peace, my friend.
Yep.
I guess moving on, Elena. Is there a favorite player all time for the Phillies or for anyone? And currently, of the Phillies playing, do you have a current favorite and why?
I that my current favorite of the Phillies has got to be Crook. I mean, he just keeps me he keeps me happy. I like it. So thank you going on. Yeah, they're good. I think he can do well.
All right.
I know everybody loves Castellanos because he's so cute, but I don't want to see his belly button. No.
So you're the one that doesn't.
And not called
I
N3B
mean,
for no
he's
reason.
adorable. If you can get me listen, I know that I'm a manager for myself, so if you want to just let Gabe Kapler know that I could use one of those, that'd be okay. But yeah.
So do you know what we call Gabe Kapler? Like, have you been a fan enough to know what our nickname is for him? No.
Hit me
So
with
we
it.
call him Tan Dick.
Oh, that's it? Okay, because I've heard that.
Yeah. So
I realized that
that's
was-
Yeah, that's Gabe.
Yeah, that's Gabe.
Coconut boy, tangent.
Coconut oil.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is funny. So, Elena, have you had the opportunity to meet any other players like through your father or through your brother's playing days? Like, obviously, some of the Phillies, but yeah.
Yeah,
Who's your favorite that you
I've
met?
Jim Tomei was really, really nice to me. He's a really nice. He's just nice. He's look at me. I got the best bat there's ever been, but he's just a nice guy. Bobby Abreu, got to meet him, and he was hilarious. For we were at PNC Park, right? And he's just talking to me like he's known me my whole life. Like, okay, cool. He was really great. Yeah, I think Dallas was my favorite. That I got to sit and listen to him talk about some of the shenanigans that those two got in for the years, and some of their stories. I don't think you should be saying this in front of a child, but he was funny. But yeah, there's never been anybody that I liked. It's just, I don't know, just a really great crowd. He knew some pretty amazing people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, did you move around a lot with your dad's involvement in the game? And if you did, how was that adjustment? Did you?
I grew up in Oil City, Pennsylvania. That's where my
Okay.
mom's from. So, yeah, I was a little tea sandwich of a town above Pittsburgh with pierogies, and it was a little tiny place, but it was good. But when I got to visit him and spend time with him and all that stuff, it was always for sure.
Awesome. So I'm going to break into some comments before we kind of hit up some more questions we have for you, Alina. So Nancy, appreciate you being the first as always. Hey guys, fuck the Mets. You have to say hey guys and girls because Alina's on today. Max, my man Max with a fuck the Mets. The Cowboy with a fuck the Mets. there's a lot of fuck the Mets, so I'm just going to bring them all up because, Nancy, hello FTM and welcome Alina. Garrett with a fuck the Mets and fuck the Braves. I think Garrett's still in the Philippines. If you are, let me know, but I thought you were. Philip, welcome everyone and fuck the Mets. We have a fuck the Dodgers, I'm assuming. And
Whoa.
we have to agree with that. That's new. Like we're okay with this. Like
That could be Diamondbacks
That
too,
could be
maybe.
yeah, Diamondbacks
Could be the
too, yeah.
Diamondbacks. Yeah.
And Elaine, I don't know if you're single, but Sam seems to be interested. Nice, good-looking woman. I mean that respectfully.
Hi, Sam.
Sam is shooting his shot there. Shoot your shot, Sam.
yeah.
That a boy.
There's competition.
Dating game?
Ben is Elena is gorgeous, so you now have a couple suitors or interests, Elena. If that's Judy, thank God Arizona is out. So a lot of the comments about Pete Rose and Papa John's on here. So John's dad, Pete Rose, died today at 83. Rest in peace, greatest hitter of all time. Terrible news. And apparently, I know the Phillies aren't playing today, but they're an inner squad, and Castellanos just hit a home run.
There you go.
Is that for Chris Christopherson or for
Or hey, remember Sergeant Taggart died too from Beverly Hills Cop.
No.
Kelly makes a good point. It's the Phillies' fault. The Mutts are in the wild card because if the Phillies would have taken care of business at Citizens Bank Park, they would not be. So that's a little bit of a problem. Let me see if there's anything else here. We have a fellow Oil City person, Elena. So Matt,
Oh my gosh.
his dad's side of
There
the
you go.
family is from Oil City. So out of
We
nowhere, there's
probably
another.
shared pierogi.
Yeah.
Randomly, a very good friend of ours, my wife and I, is from Oil City too. I just asked her if she knows you, but she doesn't. So unfortunately, but I do know someone from Oil City.
How did you become a fan of DPF, Elena?
So, my dad passed away, and when I'm in that funk and I'm missing my dad, I usually go looking for pictures of him that I hadn't seen before, videos or anything.
Yeah.
And so I was on Facebook and I typed his name in the search bar, and I was really, and I just want to talk to my. So I type his name in the search bar, and the first thing that came up was this meme that you all had made of my brother. Kidding you, I laughed so hard, like in tears, like I giggled. So I was like, I got what these guys are about. So I was scrolling a little, and it wasn't long after that a live show. So I hopped on just to listen. I was like, man, these guys are legit. Like,
Love that.
so Phillies are only the best fans of any sports, franchise ever. But Phillies fans, like, top shelf. And so, but you guys are so smart out the plays you think they should make, and the players that should be in, the players that should be out, and who should be pitching. And I just got hooked. And then, like, all the mess you all throw on my brother, it tickles me the best. Like, it's all in good fun, it's all in good fun. And he definitely, he's the smartest man I've ever met in my life. Like, such a nerd, but he is the smartest man I've ever met in my life. And he knows some baseball, but man, that, like, shh. just for just a second. Yeah, it's great. And I don't know. I fell in love with it all. And it wasn't long after I really started liking you Chris, your father passed away, and so I was like, we have a little bit of connection there, like
Yeah.
our love for our dads and how all that. So I'm part of your.
We appreciate it. We love that. So like when we first saw your name, I was like, I don't know if it was me or someone else. It's like, wait a minute, like could this be? Is it possible? Like could it be, Ruben's sister or Ruben, senior, like his daughter? And I'm like, oh my God, it is. This is amazing. I think I took Dugan's question, so that was my fault. I'm getting a little older, so like being able to see a D or a C, it's not that well. So like I'm gonna have to wear glasses
these,
soon.
bro.
But I'm a little too I'm too vain still, I guess.
That's all right. That's all right, Chris. That was all 4 years of roaming for me, trying to see whether it was a C or a D. So.
High school, yeah.
So I'll take your question then, Chris. So,
Okay.
Elena, I'm sure you saw the pic of your brother Ruben in the wicker chair with the drink in his hand, and I know we absolutely killed him, and we used that meme several times. What was your reaction to seeing that picture?
That
There
meme.
it is.
Uh,
There it is.
Yeah. I mean, bless his heart. Bless. He was enjoying life that day.
We've enjoyed that picture quite a lot too, and used it to our advantage. So.
Oh man.
That's a good one. I mean, he can try to be as he wants to, but I think I'm gonna win that one.
I mean, at least he matches, right, Elena? Like it
Right?
matches, so that's positive. I mean, I think T-Mac or Kruk told him to wear that day, and he's settling down with the drink. In our heads, he's a DPF fan because we've seen some of his videos recently, and he's pouring a little bourbon, he's shaking it up, he's smoking the bourbon, like has one of these things on it and lights it up. So
very fancy. Very fancy.
That's funny.
When we say stuff like, "Hey, he wears that Casio watch he's wearing," has there ever been any discussions about kind of you disassociating from DPF at all?
No. Yeah. I don't get to first as he talked, I don't get to him a whole lot, but I mean, every once in a while it's the hey, how you doing? You still alive? I love you. Bye. But we're both terribly busy humans, so but he knows I love him.
And believe it or not, we do too. Like we know that he's smart. We love him on the post game.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes we feel like he needs to fill the air with something when he can just let it breathe, right?
Yes.
Just let it breathe.
Yeah. He is the most intelligent human being I think I've ever met. But like we're not all at that level. Like down a little, bro. Like, like we're good. Just give us a little bite. We don't need the whole thing.
Yeah. Like he's going to Penn Charter and he's like taking trigonometry as a freshman. We're like, all right, listen, kid. Like we're not worried about like the boat go down, and the river's going this way. What angle? All right, we're good. We're good. So your boys play baseball. Are we going to have a third generation of the Amaro bloodline in MLB?
I would love that for them. I would love that for them. They're boys. They're big boys, and they can be some power hitters. They gotta work. And I have one who's and one who he's left field and he likes to pitch. So he's just a baby. He's 14. He's
Well, you say that, but tell everyone how big he is at 14.
He's
your
about
other son.
6 something, and at 14, I mean, he's huge. I don't know how my little tiny self made such a giant human. He's definitely got the Santos Amaro gene. My grandfather, he was 6'4", like huge dude. And this one, he's all that. I'm not even 5 feet tall yet. Not yet.
Still growing.
Fingers crossed.
So we've talked about your brother a little bit. So has he ever said anything on the air that just made you like embarrassed or just like, what are you talking about, Rube? Like, zip it, you know?
So I was on Facebook looking through whatever it was, and there was this announcer who was like, that was the hardest wood I ever touched. And I thought it was hilarious. So I shared it on my page. And then afterward, like after I had heard it, I realized it was my brother. And I was just like, that's something I would say. But, you know, that was pretty fun. But yeah, him like Suarez all over him. You know, get some of that goodness on him or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny. I love it.
He was talking about the one coach too, the one night about how strong his hands were, and he gave the best back massages or something like that. I was like, "Whoa, Rubes, yo, settle down there, buddy! Whoa!"
Yeah, we're like, there's kids listening to this.
Right.
He had the strongest hands and gave the best back massages.
Yeah.
How low did he go, Rube? How low did he go? Come on. Yeah.
DPF always catches his greatest hits.
Too funny.
We kind of covered my next one, so I'm going to go to my last one here, Elena. Is there anything that you'd like to plug to our followers? Obviously, you heard our plugs in the beginning. We've got a pretty good, pretty good following. Is there anything that you'd like to plug?
I mean, fuck the Mets. That's all I gotta say.
That's all you have to say.
That's it.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't FTM with their own D, but you know.
That's a t-shirt. You know, we're gonna
That is a t-shirt.
I wouldn't FTM with your own D.
That's awesome.
We'll just quote AA.
There you go.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we kind of covered my next question too, but I mean, does Ruben know about your DPF fandom at all?
I don't know.
We're pretty sure he knows about us because we fired him on April 1st on Twitter, and he said, "Damn!" It was like an April Fool's joke. We relieved him of his duties.
I saw that was so great. I was like, oh darn, yeah, that was pretty fantastic. Yeah, I don't know if he knows, but hey, I miss you. I love you. He probably knows now.
The game's changed so much since, you know, your brother played and your dad played. What do you think your dad would say today about how the game is played as opposed to how he played it when, you know, in the 58 through, you know, the late 60s, early 70s?
I can give you an exact quote of
I love
what
this.
to say about it seems just so lazy. You're getting paid. Lazy. Like that was his one thing that he didn't. I think that people were playing they could, and I think that's why he enjoyed scouting. You're seeing those farm teams playing. They are playing. They are out. Like our guys, I want to see them now. I want to see them. Pete Rose, 1970 All-Star game. I want to see you run through that damn catcher. I want to see that from our guys. That's like that one show where Chris, you said a whole lot of words. You probably should have said a Hail Mary for her too. But like they just weren't playing. They just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna trot over to first base. Maybe I don't think they're playing as hard. They, I get you're making money and you're up there, but to do. But you see it a lot of just, I'm just going to stroll on over to first.
Yeah.
I want to see you run through that damn catch. And run through that.
So your dad was integral in the scouting of some players and them becoming Phillies, even though they didn't stay Phillies. Juan Samuel, George Bell, Julio Franco, Cole Hamels. These are like, people that your dad was able to identify that we consider like Julio Franco and George Bell, like they're ones we missed, but Juan Samuel was a great player. Cole Hamels was such a great player. Just some of your other like dad's accolades while we like wrap up this part. Like in 1964, he played multiple positions. He was playing shortstop and, Bobby Wine was, and they were both right-handed. So there was times where Gene Mauch deployed your dad, and sometimes where it was Bobby Wine. He played first, he played third, second, and left field. Your dad was like the ultimate utility man of today. That wasn't a thing back then. You played left field or you played right field. Okay. And in 64, he was 21st in the MVP voting, which is like, that's a huge deal. Like 64 was a great year for the Phillies, but a lot of individuals had great years. So I just think it's a testament to how your dad played. And he had 60 years in the game, 60 years in the game. And that's not, that's counting his time with Mexico because he was always playing in the Winter League when he could, managing, playing, St. Louis, Philadelphia. So we hope that you're going to stay on with us because we're going to talk some Phillies baseball. But Elena, thank you so much for like sharing, your story and sharing part of your dad with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you want to stay on?
Sure.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to go around the horn and kind of talk about our wild card predictions now that we know who we're playing. So everything is set. So I'm going to kind of go from Dugan, and then Dugan, you can pass it to whoever. Just give us who you kind of like, both in the AL and NL, who you think is going to win.
All right, I'll start over in the AL in the 3-6 bracket there. It's Houston against Detroit. I like the Astros to win that series. Then we move on to Kansas City against Baltimore. I like the Orioles to win that one. The 3-6 in the National League, we got the Brewers against the Mets. I'm going to take the Mets to win that series. I think the Mets are hot. I think they're going to win, and I want to play the Mets. I want to play the Mets in the divisional series. Although I wouldn't hate the Brewers winning and getting to beat Rhys Hoskins. So I'd be happy with whoever wins that, but I'm going to take the Mets to win that series. And then the 4-5, San Diego and Atlanta. Atlanta's too banged up, and if Sale can't pitch, they're at a real disadvantage in that series, as hot as San Diego's been. So I'm going to take the Padres to knock off the Braves in that series.
So
John, what do you got?
Mets? You got a little bit more on Alonso,
that's for you. Here. That's for you, Chris. I know you like Alonso, so I'm going to take. Yeah, I want to play the Mets. I want to beat the Mets. I think that would be a great series. The fan bases, are two good fan bases going at it. We get to use our Gabagool meme a few more times this year. That would be great. So that's where I'm at. So it would be the Mets at the Phillies, the Padres, the Dodgers, Baltimore against the Yankees, and the Astros against the Guardians. John, what do you got?
I actually, I see Detroit maybe making a little run against the Houston. Just a little underdog, little play. You got probably who's going to be. He's a Triple Crown pitcher of the AL. You got Skubal as your number one. I mean, you got a good shot in game one. I could see Detroit giving Houston a run for their money. So I'm taking Detroit as a underdog. Orioles over KC. KC's an improved club. I like what they're doing, but it's Orioles are on another level right now. So I see Orioles taking them, and then I actually see the Brew Crew taking the Mets. I see Rhys Hoskins doing his usual, messing with the Mets and all, and then unfortunately we take Rhys out in the next round. But and then the Braves are no match for the Padres. I mean, Braves got a decent lineup, but I mean, if Sale's, like you said, Dugan, if Sale's hurt, the pitching's like thin after that. Like Charlie Morton's hittable, Freed's hittable. I mean, you got the young kid that's who's the other guy?
Schwellenberg. Yeah. Through one of them.
They're pretty much overmatched there. I see the Padres playing the Dodgers in the next round. So I'm with you. Except I don't know. I would like to see an underdog in Detroit take that one series. What do you think, Mike?
So I'm pretty aligned with you guys. I just don't agree with you on the Tigers, John, because experience matters, and the Astros have a ton of experience lately.
I see that.
And the Tigers are young and don't have that kind of experience, although their manager may be able to articulate that to them. I don't see that one. I'm more aligned with the Astros. Did you say, unfortunately, we would have to then send Rhys Hoskins home, John?
No, I said Rhys will send the Mets home, and then we will send Rhys home.
Oh, I thought you said unfortunately.
No.
Home, and I was like, wait a minute.
Oh no, I don't like Rhys. So.
I heard it wrong in my head.
Yeah,
and then kind of the same. I don't know that. I do have I guess I have a little bit of a different take on Atlanta. If they sandbagged Sale today, and he is really not hurt,
right,
they may have a really good opportunity to jump up on the Padres. And if he's not, though, I don't think they have much of a shot. I don't know why you would have sandbagged him today, because it's a huge gamble to bet that you're going to just outscore the AAA team that the Mets put out there to, maybe not get into the playoffs. But the gamble worked because they won. And so if Sale can get his treatment on his back and he can pitch, then Atlanta has a shot. If not, the Padres are the hot hand right now. And, I don't know. I think that's going to be their series if Sale can't pitch. Chris?
So Detroit's number 6, but there was a number 6 seed that, made it pretty far in 2022, if everyone remembers. So I am going to go with Detroit. And it's a lot because, I love that their pitcher has a whiskey named after him. And it's this peanut butter whiskey, Screwball. I think that's awesome. So anytime a guy has a whiskey named after him, I'm going to go for that. So I appreciate that. Now the next ones, I would love to see the Yankees Orioles. I love seeing, an NLDS where it's 2 teams from the same division. That's just going to be awesome. The Orioles hit a rough patch a little bit, but I still think that they get past KC. They just do. And going over into the other side, I mean, I don't know what Chris Sale's problem was, but I could not imagine not fucking want to play in the last game that's going to put my team in the playoffs. There's no back spasm that could ever stop me from doing that. So
especially when you're the front runner for the Cy Young, you're the guy. You're the fucking guy. Come on,
Chris. That's a great point. Along with this, I feel like I can only hurt my chances of winning the Cy Young by playing today. There's a better chance that I'm not going to do better. And I just feel like that's a great disservice. I think it's an embarrassment. And John's dad, I would like to call Chris Sale that word, but I'm not going to do it on here because that's the one no word I'm not allowed to say. My wife says You can say
Just-
the F words.
Just say wussy. That's all.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Um,
go.
With that P that Ruben Amar Sr. wants to be
This one,
buried with on his
Yeah.
chest, right? With the P there, you know?
I would love to play the Mets. Most of us here on the podcast are going
yeah.
on Saturday. I would love to play the Mets. I want to beat that team, but I think the Brewers do it. I just think that they have a little bit more as far as firepower that's kind of going on and pitching. The Mets pitching doesn't worry me. Edwin Diaz is a problem. Devin Williams is, if the Brewers have a lead, the game's over. I really don't feel that there's going to be a problem. And Adames has had an incredible season, like a very underrated season. So I'm picking the Brewers, but I kind of want to play the Mets. Elena, where are you at with the wild card predictions?
I would love to play the Mets. I kind of but Mattress Max sorry. So I mean, I hate the Astros, but I don't see
I
what
hate
Mattress
Mattress
Max
Max.
is betting.
Yeah.
That's the most entertaining part about seeing the Astros in the and I just Altuve, no. But yeah, that's it. I would love to play the Mets.
So Altuve is probably the only major leaguer that's shorter than you.
That's true.
I could put that baby on. Chair. I love when he watches postseason from his high chair, though.
Yeah. Let's knock him out. We'll go to some more questions now because I can see there's a few more that poured in, and then we'll kind of go to our next point. So we're going to be talking about is your Phillies end of the year awards. You can make it up. It doesn't have to be offensive or defensive MVP. You can say anything you want, just so everyone knows that. So we have Amy checking in. Evening, fellas and ladies. Amy, I guess Elena's here, so just let's be respectful. Elena's Chris's cousin, right?
Yeah, Amy's my
Yeah.
cousin. Yeah.
Megan, fuck the Mets, fuck the Braves, and fuck we play next. Agree with that. Listen to you guys from the Met right now, waiting for the Sting concert to start.
Is
Man, I love
is
that.
Mold there? Is Steve Mold there? He's usually at the Met.
Is it a brewery?
No, concert hall on Broad Street.
Concert hall.
No, I know that. I was joking because Steve's only at breweries.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Sorry.
I think Steve's driving home from the shore. He's driving.
He's
Oh,
listening
and-
on the way home.
I was thinking
right.
this, but I'm glad Max said it. I fucking hate that there's a building in Philadelphia
Yes.
called the Met.
Yes.
Like, let's not do that. That's just bad.
Max is the man.
Yes.
And Papa John is always talking about cats. Yeah,
There
when
you
Papa John's chiming in, he definitely likes to talk about cats a lot.
Poor Papa John.
Is this your boy, Dugan?
I think I've met Mike before. Yeah, I think we met
Okay.
him down at the ballpark. Yeah.
Cool. He's saying, what's up to you? And then Mike wants to kick it off and say he wants to give the Iron Man Award 3 buttons for 162. So great segue, Mike. Appreciate that. So I'm going to give the offensive MVP award to Kyle Schwarber. Like, I destroyed this guy for being the first batter and just not doing first batter stuff. I think he slimmed down. He was actually running a little bit better. 100 plus RBIs, 100 plus runs, and close to 400 on base percentage. He's everything that we would want, everything that we've paid for. I just feel like he's been that guy. And I'm going to only give 2 awards. My second one is going to be, the surprise of the year. And to me, that's Christopher Sanchez. What an incredible year this young kid is pitching with poise, very close to 200 innings, does not walk people. The changeup is maybe the best we've seen in this town since Cole Hamels and Jamie Moyer. I think if there's not a Sanchez, because Sanchez was like, he was the steady guy all the way through this. Zach's a whole different thing. Like, but I'm saying, Nola ups and downs. Sanchez has been amazing. So I'm just like, I really feel like he was that surprise and the coming of age kind of season that maybe this is what we're going to expect from him moving on. So, Mike, who do you have?
So who just said the Iron Man was Casty?
That was Mike
Warnock.
Warnock.
So same name. I had Iron Men written down. Casty was one. I mean, you play 162 games. That's very consistent. That means you're taking care of your body. That means you're doing everything that you need to do to stay in the lineup. For as maddening as it is that he swings at the slider in the down and away in the dirt all the time, he stopped. He didn't stop. He cut down on doing that in the second half of the year. So I gave that. And JT, think about how much this guy catches, right? I know he had some time off, like 4 or 5 whatever weeks it was for knee surgery, but he gets right back in there. He does 130 to 140 games a year, a little bit less this year because of injury. This guy's just amazing. Those are my two co-Ironman. Most consistent reliever. So every time Hoffman went out there until the last time, we were like, this, don't hassle the Hoff, man. This guy went out there. He threw strikes. He got outs in high leverage situations. I just thought he was most consistent. I think I have most improved reliever. I put Kerkering, right? This guy, 4 levels last year. He came in for 2 weeks at the end of the year in the big league level. Got a little bit slider, sweeper, whatever you want to call it, happy in the playoffs and might not have done as well. But this guy this year was super dependent. He's that 6th or 7th inning guy to set it up for the Hoff and in the beginning of the year, the Alvarados, and then at the end of the year, the Estevez. So thought he was most improved. And my last one, you stole it, most improved offense, Schwarber, right? I mean, last year, what was he, 120 something, and one ends up 150 something, 180, whatever it was, batting, and he's 259. I think you missed 100 walks. He has 100 RBIs, 100 runs. Like he just does 100 this year. I just thought he was most improved. I think he's most improved mostly because he did Pilates in the off season. Just saying. That's how he
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
I don't know what you're talking about. What is it? Club Pilates, QuakerTown.com. If you're interested. Those are my awards for the year. I'm go bottom left, Johnny.
All right, I got Iron Man Nick. Is it because Topper played him on 162? He was durable though. He didn't get hurt. I give it up to him. Does he drive us nuts with his swings? Yes, but I mean, in the second half of the season, especially, he turned it up, man. Him and Bohm were like carrying the team pretty much, like batting wise, and his defense is always good. Like it's you don't have to worry too much about out there. Once in a while, he'll lollygag it, but for the most part, he's great defensively. I'm gonna go. I agree with you, Mike, with the Hoff, but Strami, man, as most consistent. What 1.47 or something like that? He's like he's under 2 ERA. Just crazy. Like he's that little sneaky villain on the mound, like a little setup guy. Most improved offense. I agree with you guys, Schwarber. Like Chris and all of us, we used to kill him. He's not a leadoff hitter, blah, blah. But I mean, he really showed up this year. And hey, until it don't work anymore, I'm not going to say a word. So, roll him out there in the one hole. Breakout player, and I know, what's he, about 27 maybe, I think, or something. He might be 28. Bohm, dude. Bohm had he got hurt, which Derailed. Yeah, thank you. Derailed the homers, but the RBIs. Like when you got runners and runners on the bases, I want Bomey up there, hitting them little liners, hitting them little bloopers and all. Like he was the man this year. Real quick, improved position player Rojas. He improved over the year. The bat got a little better. He's still not like crazy good, but I mean he got better, and the glove got better. And bad year, Stott. Stott had just disappointing year. Hope he gets it better. And the
I didn't know we were doing Razzies.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And one quick one, and you know where I'm going with this one. And as always, please work on your DJ game because you could be Jerry Blavitt and you still won't be here next year. Garrett Stubbs, Marshawn will be the backup next year. Go ahead, Dugan.
So I wanted to talk about who I considered our pitching Cy Young Award winner for the Phillies this year, and I think it's easy to look at Zach Wheeler and say Zach Wheeler was the guy, but I think John hit the nail on the head. I think Matt Strahm was probably the most valuable pitcher that the Phillies had this year because the guy pitches in any situation. Come in with men on base. He could pitch the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, whatever you need him. He comes in. He's not overpowering, but he's sneaky. He blows his pitches by guys. I like his emotion. Like he's the guy that when we talk about someone needs to get hit, I go, oh, Matt Strahm's the guy that's going to come in and hit somebody. Like he's the guy that just brings that fire. I was at the game where they had the brawl, and he came running out in flip-flops with his hair tied back. And, like you love to see that from a guy like that kind of passion and that fire. But I think he's been great all season. Defensive player of the year, I think Stott, as bad as his bat's been, his glove has been as equally as good. He's been fantastic. He should be definitely a top contender for a Gold Glove in the National League this year. I'm going to give an award to a guy who I thought was kind of a season saver for us. When Trey Turner got hurt, Edmundo Sosa came in and played so good, just kind of filled in like we never missed a beat. He hit, he was getting to play every day. He was driving in runs, big hits, playing good defense. He was huge for us. And what was the last one I wanted to do? Oh, I'm just going to say Captain Clutch. I'm going to give the Captain Clutch award, and that was Cody Clemens. That guy seemed to get a big hit whenever there was an opportunity. The bench guys this year have been fantastic, and I think that's the biggest difference in this team from this season from last season. Weston Wilson, Cal Stevenson, Cody Clemens, Bobby Kennedy. You can go down a list, and all these guys had big hits to help the Phillies win games or made big defensive plays, like Stevenson going over the wall against the Mets, the game we were all at. So I think this year the Phillies are a deeper team. I hope they carry an extra guy on the bench going into the playoffs to give you another bat, another glove, some better defense maybe when you get late innings. But Cody Clemens, Captain Clutch award for me. That's all I got.
Cool. Elena, what's your awards for the year?
I have one award for the year. That is Daddy Award, which goes to T-Mac. That's my award.
All right.
I'm going to deal with a lot.
I see a meme there. I see a meme where like T-Max cradling like your brother maybe or something.
Yeah, little baby Rube telling him what to
do. Baby Rube, like, we're gonna need a knock here, Daddy.
A lot of traffic. There's a lot of traffic, Daddy.
The last segment we're going to kind of talk about is, your one special moment from the regular season. It doesn't matter. It's something that, when you think of 2024 regular season, it's going to make you think of. So I'll go first and I'll kind of pass this on. So, baseball's so personal to us, right? Everyone that's on this show right now is like, we live and die with it. So there are situations where, like, when the Phillies lose or are not playing well, we're not in a great mood. when they win, we are in a good mood. But April 11th was like one of those days where it was unspecial to most, but I needed a Phillies win that day, like so bad. And it was one of those games where like Ranger Suarez pitched 6 innings, I think it was. And then I think Junior Marte and Nick Nelson came in. We had a couple bombs and we beat the Pirates 5-1, but it was like that morning my dad passed. So it's like one of those things that you always watch the game at your dad. And I'm like, oh, pull some strings. I need a win tonight. So of all the things, like that's the one moment where like, I don't know, like so many great moments this year, but like I'm going to always look back on that day forever, so that's kind of what mine was. And it's more personal than like that celebratory because like April 11th, what the fuck? Like it's the Pirates, like early in the season. What are you talking about? What's special? It was special to me. And that's what's special about baseball. It's personal, right? It's personal to all of us.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dugan.
Yeah, so mine's going to be our first DPF night on May 18th. I mean, we had 500 people, most of them wearing DPF shirts in that crowd. So it was a special moment just to see that and see what this group has accomplished and how far we've come and how many people actually support this group. And not only that, the Phillies were losing most of the game, and Captain Clutch Clemens hit a tying home run in that game, and the Phillies ended up winning it on the sac fly by Harper in the I don't know if it was the bottom of the 9th or the 10th or whatever.
That was special.
That was special. We were running around up with the flag, the Drunk Bills flag, up in the seats. So that was just a fun day, and the Phillies winning the way they did just really added to it. So it was special, and it was the first big thing we've had like that as a group, and to see all those people with our shirts on was pretty amazing.
Yeah, so it's like it's chiming in, Chris. Everyone, like Mike's like best moment was that night at the bank game at the end.
Yeah.
Great crowd, great people. It was overwhelming. Like oh my God. The tailgate. Cowboy Scott is saying it too. So even though it rains, like that's a great call. I love that moment. So. And Harry saying the same thing. So it was like your night was the one. So
yeah.
Cool.
What do you got, John?
Always a Doherty guy to steal a little bit of the thunder. But
smartest guy in the room. Smartest guy in the room. That's why.
I'm just playing. There's a little bit of that in mine. Mine's a combination. Opening day with you guys up on the scoreboard porch, the 2 tailgates, the heartwarming of everybody wearing our hoodies and giving out stickers, and everybody goes, "Hey, you're John. Hey, you're Dugan. Hey, you're Mike from the pod." Like, it was almost like, wow, like we really touched these people. There's like 500 DPFers, like hardcore drinking and having fun and hanging out and meeting each other for the first time. And the Mets win that we just all went to. It was a smaller little group, but that meant a lot because fuck the Mets, right? And the NL East clincher, because it's been a while. I mean, it's been what?
2011
years now. Yeah.
2011.
How many years now? 2011.
13.
I wasn't there.
I was going to do the math as a Doherty guy just to prove that I'm the smartest here. But thanks, Mike.
You have the TI-83 underneath you, though. No
I
one sees
know,
it.
right. You heard me clicking it,
But I mean, I wasn't there, but like that's really what, because that's what Philly's all about, and Philly's fans are all about. And when we do this podcast, and even when we're just like live commenting during the game, and even when I'm on Twitter, like live tweeting and all, it's just average people talking to other average people. Like you're commenting, like all our viewers, you're commenting what we're thinking, and then you tell us we're saying what you're thinking too. So it's a common bond pretty much. So that's what meant a lot to me this year. Pretty much. No one particular moment, but the moment with our people. What do you think, Mike?
I had the NL East clinching game too because of how well they did in the beginning of the year. Then we flew to London and somehow lost our mind for a little while, and then to be able to right the ship and take the NL East for the first time in a long time, 13 years, 2011. I had that one, but I don't color in the lines well, so I had a second one because Chris said pick one, but I'd pick two. And the second one is also a specific date. So it was June 28th against the Marlins. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Chris's pitcher of the year, Sanchez, threw a complete game shutout against the Marlins. And I just think back to last year and the year before and how far that Christopher Sanchez has come, both physically and mentally, in that short time frame. I think JT had an after game interview one time, and he said it's really impressive how he's utilized like the training staff and the nutrition staff and worked with Caleb Cotham and JT and probably Stubbs to like game plan. And I just thought that game, because first of all, pitchers don't pitch complete games anymore. And so that was his second one of the year. And second of all, it was a shutout. And so that was a really special game for me being a former pitcher. So
I was at that game. Like, he was amazing. I think he may have done it in like 92 pitches too. He was so efficient, just threw strikes, a lot of ground outs. He was awesome that night. That was a great game.
You know, it's a shame, Mike, real fast. You know how like a lot of pitchers don't pitch complete games anymore? Guess who's our leader this year? Sanchez with 2. That's sad.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a shame.
I think the Phillies have 5 and they lead the whole league.
I think Roy Halladay still holds the record since like 2011, and he hasn't pitched in how many years?
Yeah,
he's got the most shutouts or complete games since like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's really
The game's changed.
It's crazy.
The game's changed.
What about you, Elena? What was your special moment of 2024?
I liked Tyler Phillips shutout night. That was
That's a great one.
like that was it's really neat to see a kid who like in the park he grew up in. That's pretty awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it's something
cool.
we've all dreamed of, right? So that is a good one. That's, I think, escaped all of us. So that's a nice addition. I'm going to go around the horn, but before I do that, I kind of want to talk about something I'm wearing. So I'm wearing the DPF Red October Ring the Bell playoff shirts. These are designed by us. They are not designed elsewhere. It's me. I'm not a designer. I'm not someone who's artistic. I may have gotten some artistic ideas from somewhere. Wink, wink. But, you know, buying those supports us. We love seeing them. We love posting them on the page. So drunkphilsfans.com. You can get these and others. We do a lot of the old school maroon and old school baby blue, which Elena's wearing one of our maroon ones. If you don't want the word drunk on there, we got ones that say just DPF, which is perfect. So I want to go around the horn to just kind of final thoughts going into the wild card or anything you kind of want to say season ending. So I'm going to go below me, which I see is John. So John, and then pass it off.
I got I'm just gonna say I'm ready for whoever we face, whether it's the Brewers or Mets. Bring it on. I know the second half of the season wasn't as great as the first half, but it's a whole new ball game now. Anything can happen. So let them beat up on each other, and in the next round we take care of business. It's ride or die. And like my little hashtag says right there, why not us? I mean, why not, right? I got a good feeling that these guys are going to get together. It's a good group. I think it's a better group than the last couple of years, actually, with Cody involved, and if they put Weston Wilson in there, like these other little, utility guys in there. I think we got something special going, and so let's go Phils, and fuck the Braves and fuck the Mets. You got Dugan.
Yeah. So before I go to my point, I just wanted to say, Elena, I have something in common with your brother Ruben. we both played for the same American Legion post here in Philadelphia, the Loudon Slogger 366 post in Fox Chase. His team won the state championship. We got knocked out in the regionals, but we did wear the same uniform at one point, probably a few years apart. But so that was a pretty cool connection to have.
That's pretty
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Loudy, 366. But for my Phillies point, I just remember 2022 when they made that run to the World Series, and just how much fun that was, and getting to share that with you guys and my kids, and those special moments that happened down at the ballpark during the playoff time. And I'm looking for that. I need that. I'm jonesing for that feeling again, because the way last season ended was a giant kick in the nuts, losing Game 6 and Game 7, and it still hurts to this day. I need Game 1 of the division series here as fast as it can get here, and I need to get that taste wiped out of my mouth. And I need to see the Phillies. If the Phillies play their A game, nobody's beating them. Nobody will beat the Phillies if they're swinging the bats. Their pitching's going to be fine. I trust the Phillies pitching. The bats have to wake up, put the ball in play, cut down on strikeouts, play winning baseball, and this team can go. This team can win it all, and that's what I'm hoping for. And I need that feeling again. What do you got, Mike?
Yeah, I think we were there when that stadium was vibrating, literally, standing, watching the Phils beat the Braves, and that feeling is amazing. So let's get that feeling here as quick as possible. I think we have to touch on this bye, right? So, the Braves claim that it's not good for you to have this bye and to have this time off because it throws off your timing of your hitting. Well, we weren't hitting, so maybe it'll kick us back into gear. So I think we need to take that, kind of stick it up the Braves' ass mentality and take this time off here with whatever they're going to do, inter squad wise and all that, and get sharp enough with the bats to make sure that we make it through to the end of the World Series and bring the World Series championship trophy fucking back to Mr. Middleton. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing run. Some of us will be together at some games, and we'll meet you guys in K-Lot, and it'll be a blast for sure. Last thing, make sure if you're 45 years old, you go and get a colonoscopy, please. It could save your life. Fuck the Braves. Fuck the Mets. Fuck Joe Carter. He ruined my childhood. And Elena, last thoughts.
I'm ready to see that magic back at Citizens. Nothing like playoff in Philly. There's nothing that gets better. So I want to see it. I want to see these guys. I want to see them light a fire under their ass and get those bats going. I think we could do it. I like this crowd.
Love that. Dugan and Mike and John, hopefully you can go, and maybe Eleni, someone that you can kind of get in, but I cannot wait for Saturday. And it's going to be extra special because it's my youngest. I'm bringing her to her first playoff game. So I'm glad that Dugan and Mike are going, because if I act out or have too many, I know that you're good dads and, we'll be able to take care of business as needed. So Avery's excited to go, but that's something that's special too. I feel like it's a curse, but it's also something special. You're bringing someone into Phillies fandom, and it's funny because at night she'll go to bed and it's a little too late when the Phillies get over. But first thing she does in the morning is ask Alexa, what did the Phillies do last night? So that when I wake up with her, she can say oh, they won or lost. But that Phillies playoff baseball, it's just going to be extra special. I really don't care who we play. It's one of those things. I don't want to wish the Brewers at the Mets because they're both good teams, right? I just want to have that feeling. You're chasing that dragon, chasing that feeling of 22 that didn't end right, and 23 didn't end right. But third time's the charm. So I want to thank you, Elena, for being on with us. We appreciate you sharing all of your stories with us. and your time.
Thank you for that.
So thank you so much for being on. We don't know when we're going to be on again. Maybe Friday, maybe not. But we're going to do some type of preview, whether it's going live from the game or something like that, because we want to keep everyone in touch with kind of what we're feeling and give you an NLC DS preview. So appreciate it. We went a little bit long tonight, but it's the playoffs, so this is kind of what has to happen. Have a good night, and thanks for joining us, everyone.
Go
Thank you.
Phils.
Thanks, everybody.
Phils.